All right, I think we're finally up and running. It appears so. Hey guys, welcome to Coach Castles Live. I apologize I didn't do it the last 2 weeks. It's just, as you guys know, a couple bad things have happened. I've been very busy. Everybody's been very busy. A couple of things just preventing it from occurring. And the last few shows I had before this one, for some reason, there was a very low, small following. So I polled everybody. And the result from the poll was Sunday at 11, maintaining the same time. So I will do so. Today's the first one, so I don't expect many people on this. I'm only going to be running it till 11:30, so I have some me time to relax today. Unless a lot of people come on, then I'll keep it going till 12. The purpose of this is, of course, to coach you guys. Any questions you have, anything I can help with your training program, with your nutrition, with correcting your life in any way particularly, I can help. That's what I do as a coach. For anybody new to this, just so you know, I specialize in biomechanics, biotensegrity, respiratory health, postural correction, running, both long distance and sprinting, bodybuilding. I've dabbled in quite a few different athletic endeavors. I've coached both boxers, cyclists, swimmers, a whole bunch of things, span across a whole bunch of domains. If you don't want coaching from me, I have 4 different books you can choose from at my Etsy store to check out. They're all full of information you simply will not find anywhere else, which you all really need to have. If you don't want the books, you can check out my YouTube videos. I got 600 different lectures here. I also have a whole bunch of other tools on my Etsy store, a whole bunch more going up soon, as well as I'm almost done with my 5th book, which is a complete 10-step plan on how to get on the perfect lifestyle diet, why it matters, as well as all of your questions about food and nutrition and how they affect you, answered all hopefully within 75 pages. I have a new monthly planner going up, a new monthly tracker going up. I have new live action flashcards going up for you. I'm almost done those now. That was requested, so they're almost done. I have it's a whole bunch of stuff. I can't remember everything already. So, all right, Quincy, I just joined. Are you talking about the ice bath challenge? Oh, no, I should probably mention that, though. Thank you, Quincy. Anybody watching this, I also have an ice bath challenge I just put up. It's about a 5-minute video. It's only good until October 31st. You have to have your videos in to me by November 1st. It's very simple. For the ice bath challenge, you need to record yourself filling up your bathtub with 60 or 80 pounds of ice, cold water, and then getting in there and staying fully submerged for 1 minute. If you send me this video of you doing it, which by the way is really easy actually, you get a free month of coaching from me, which includes everything I just previously addressed, as well as, your perfect plan and everything explained to you. So it's pretty awesome. Doesn't matter where you live in the world, as I'm an online coach. So just anybody who wants the free months of coaching from me, that's all you have to do. I've already had 3 people reply with their ice bath challenge. That means I have 3 new clients for this month. I'm gonna do everything I can to make them successful, obviously. So anybody else who wants to join in, by all means, but I see I have some questions, so let's get into the coaching. Hey coach, any validity to super slow rep tempo training for muscle growth? Yes, this is excellent you asked me that. I just finished writing an article. Well, it's an article as well as practical application, and this is actually going on my Etsy store today. It's gonna be $1. Now, what the point of it is explaining how hypertrophy actually works, because it's not what most people think. Hypertrophy is nuanced. There are multiple ways to achieve hypertrophy, and this is what I go over in this. I'll be turning it into a video series as well. I'll be starting that today as well. Each video will be explaining one aspect of hypertrophy, as well as the training. But on to your question. Yes, there is validity. However, it has to be addressed very carefully, and I'm gonna have to portion this like a lawyer, so you guys understand very clearly what I mean. So if I was to take bicep curls as an example, my 1 rep max with perfect form bicep curl would be 60 pounds. So I can do a concentric, perfectly raising the weight, and then perfectly lowering the weight with exactly 0 momentum 1 time. That's 60 pounds, that's a 1 rep max for my bicep curl, okay, just so we all follow this. If I was to use that weight, raising it concentrically once, and then lower it very slowly for a period of 4 to even up to 20 seconds, I would receive significantly more muscle growth benefit in terms of hypertrophy. I don't want to get too much into the nuance of this. Suffice to say, though, the only really applicable way of introducing hypertrophy with an eccentric load is it needs to be an overload on the muscle, is the easiest way to put it. So it needs to be a weight which is significantly, well, not significantly, but a good bit higher than your concentric weight. So the concentric for my bicep would be me lifting my arm, contracting the muscle, shortening the muscle, however you want to think about it. As you guys all know, bones are levers. Your hinges are just kind of pivot points. Sorry, your joints are just pivot points. And then the muscles cross these levers and bring them together. That's their function. When they're bringing the levers together, they're contracting. This is one form of contraction, okay? Eccentrically, or lengthening, slowly lowering the load while under an overloaded tension in the same plane of movement with no momentum will produce significant muscle growth and significant hypertrophy. However, it has to be done with a load which is your maximum for one rep or even more so. Now there's different variations of this training style. Mike Menser spoke about them, but there's I included 5 or 6 other different styles as well. So really what you'll be doing, again, with the eccentric portion, is you need a weight which is higher than you can lift, actually raise the weight with or contract the muscle with. And then you have to lower it slowly, which is a lot harder than it sounds. You have to lower it very slowly and under control for the whole range for anywhere from 4 up to 20 seconds. Now, this is rest pause training. You can also call it infotonic training, although that is a little bit different. It's where you have a partner assist by adding even more load on top of that load. Omni-contraction training is another way to do this. Mike Menser spoke about all 3 of these, I believe. Omni-contraction is the same thing, but it's a variation where you also add multiple isometric holds in the range of motion as it's slowly descending. Then there's ways to vary the tempo. So remove the contraction entirely, have a machine or somebody else lift the weight so you're not even contracting at all, and then just lower it for 20 seconds. You can assist yourself doing a one-arm bicep curl, lifting it with your other arm assisting just a little bit to get the weight up, and then you can control it and lower it with just one arm. Leg extensions, an easy way to do it is use both legs to get the weight up, and then you take one leg out of the equation and lower it with the other leg. Things like this. It's very easy to implement. The only catch is this is not something you can really do with a compound movement, as again, most of you have probably already guessed. You cannot accurately do failure training or heavy eccentric training with a compound movement. It's simply not possible because it involves multiple muscle groups, which means one muscle group will be failing before the others. So in reality, only one muscle group will be really getting all the benefit to this, whichever the weakest muscle group is in that particular movement. And then of course, you're increasing the risk for damaging yourself with the other movements, the other muscle groups and joints and stuff if you're overloading yourself in that way. Like I would never have somebody do this with a squat. I would never have someone do this with a deadlift. I would never have somebody do this with any form of risky movement. It's not worth it. But if you understand biomechanics and the proper, one movement pattern, correct resistance curve for each muscle, you can do these very safely, very easily. I would also add that you should warm up, slowly work your way up over a period of months to doing this with full intensity. So when you're starting off, just try it, like just once a week, give it a go with one set of one exercise, and then increase it to every time you work out, you do it at least once, and then increase it to every time you work out, you do it at the end of every single set. And that's your last set would be an all-out effort with this kind of a heavy eccentric loading. You want to definitely have the muscle warmed up first and primed to go. So a good couple sets first. They should be the usual, depending on your training style. I would advocate stopping 2 to 3 reps short of failure, but very close to failure with the perfect biomechanic movements, as I always do. But of course, you have to understand frequency and everything else. I have a lot of videos and stuff about this, as you guys all know, I think. Back to the questions. Oh, I'm sorry, there's no new questions. So yeah, I guess I'll keep talking about this then. So it's just a confused principle. If I had a weight like 30 pounds or 35 pounds for the bicep curl, and I was doing this slow motion with the bicep curl, it wouldn't be inducing the extra growth simply because it's not actually overloading my muscle. All I'm doing is slowly controlling the negative. Now, I do advocate this in most people just because it's a good habit to keep it like basically just to keep the practice. So when you do these sets, your body is not going to be moving in any weird positions. You've practiced slowly lowering the weight. You've practiced maintaining your focus and keeping your body in the proper place. These are all really key components to this. You don't want to be moving. Obviously, don't use momentum. Momentum is for fucking morons. I say it all the time. I could have a shirt made. It's got to say momentum is for morons. Anytime you use momentum at a lift, you are drastically increasing the risk of damage and danger, on top of the fact that all you're doing, really, when you use momentum of any form, is you're just subtracting load from the target muscle, which is just a stupid thing to do if you're trying to build muscle. Why would you want to take load off the muscle if you're trying to build muscle? The reason people use momentum is because it allows them to lift heavy weight and look like they're going beast mode, when in reality, they just look like complete fuckwits who are ignorant of any form of actual training philosophy and training intelligently. Again, only idiots use momentum. Truly. Only morons would be using barbells, and because again, just using a barbell in itself is an extremely stupid thing to do. You're completely removing all cross education. There's a bilateral deficit. You can't lift as much weight. You have a limited range of movement. You can't move through a natural resistance curve. Again, momentum is for morons. Barbells are for fucking bitches. You're an idiot if you use a barbell. I mean, I don't want to turn this into a rant, but it all comes back to understanding very simple training, common sense to me, common sense things. I don't want to rant about it though. So back to just the eccentric training. Very helpful to practice with lower weights. And this is because most people simply are not used to lowering the weight slowly. And I don't know why you wouldn't. But again, it usually comes back to ego or ignorance or attempting to do more reps. But again, even doing more reps, it's not productive if you're just removing the load from the target muscle. You're not actually doing anything but damaging your joints and tendons at that point. As to other tempos of training, there are other tempos of training. So you can do, for example, what I typically do in my warm-up set. I usually pick a weight which is roughly 70 to 80% of my max. I then do it, again, let's just use biceps. I'll do alternating biceps. I'll do roughly 30 to 40 reps per arm, but the tempo is going to be about 1.5 seconds up and 1.5 seconds down. So it's going to be about a 3-second rep. Now that's perfectly fine because I know that allows me to perfectly control the upper portion and control the lower portion. And that's how I warm up my muscles. It's also a great way to pump blood into the muscle. The actual expanding of the sarcoplasm is another way. Well, maybe I'll talk about that for a second. So the expanding of the sarcoplasm is another way to produce hypertrophy. So you guys would know this as the pump, but that's not technically accurate because you can get a pump without this actually occurring. So like blood restriction training, for example, doesn't have the same effect. But anyway, so if you guys want to think about your muscles, think about a balloon. That's your, let's call it one single muscle fiber will be a long balloon that they use to blow up like dogs and stuff. The clowns, they tie them up, they go when it goes really long. So you have one of those guys, that's a single muscle fiber. Inside of there, let's glue a whole bunch of sticks to the inside of that balloon. And then some more sticks in the center. Now all of the additional space, that's going to be filled up with sarcoplasm. Okay, now that's what actually contains like nutrients and all these things. Now when you exercise and you exercise with a faster tempo, this expands basically. So it's like you're filling up the balloon with even more of this, which is going to be expanding the muscle fiber. Now, of course, that's a single muscle fiber, but all of the muscle fibers are doing this at the same time. So this is going to be rapidly expanding your muscle. It'll be swelling. That's where you get that pump sensation from. So this is one facet of hypertrophy. So if you do your first set with a rapid tempo and you take it very close to failure, so again, just 2 to 3 reps, short of failure, which is going to hurt your first set because you get that lactic acid, all that waste products, the acid, all that. It's going to hurt really bad, but you can keep going with your range of motion. Now, doing that is, again, going to fill up your muscle full of blood. It's actually going to stabilize the joints more and give you more nutrients for immediate repair to those muscle tissues. That's why I start off this way. Then the second set, just increase the weight a bit, and then you just alter your rep tempo slightly. So in this case, I go 1 second up and 2 to 3 seconds down, because I'm basically preparing myself mentally for what's to come next. So this one, I'll probably bang out, 16 to 20 reps. Same thing, it'll be alternating biceps. Same thing, same tempo. It's not going to give me the same amount of blood in my muscle, but I'm still going to have to deal with the pain of that's already, all that's already there, all swelled up looking. Then for the third set, now I have all these resources in my arm. My joint is stabilized. I'm only going to do, not sure where I cut off, so I'll just say, so I'll pick a style, omni contraction, which is currently what I'm doing anyways. Overload the muscle. So for the bicep again, this will be 60 pounds. So I'll take the 60 pounds, I'll raise it all the way up. Generally, I have to help myself with my other arm. And then to the best of my abilities, I'll lower that for 8 to 10 seconds. Then I do the other arm, and I go back to that one, and then back and forth until I've done either 4 or 5 reps, at which point in time, I have basically stimulated all facets of hypertrophy which can be stimulated. Again, I'll make videos about this very soon, and I have another one I'm finishing up today, and the article is going on Etsy today, so you guys know exactly what to do, all these things. But anyways, so that's one more facet of hypertrophy training. There's another one, the splitting of nuclei, the splitting of muscle fibers. But again, I'll be going into more detail with this with videos, but I hope the visualization wasn't too hard to follow. I know it is difficult without images, guys, but I do the best I can. So now as for the, well, I should address this. There are many different ways of getting to the same goal. This is why I stress it's so important that people actually have an understanding of exercise, an actual understanding of what is happening. It's not that hard to get a simple understanding. Like the simple explanation I gave for you guys of muscles. Muscles are just, of how the human body works, rather, with the muscles and the levers. So your bones are just simple levers, like a 2x4, and then your joints are just hinges, literally think like a door hinge on that 2x4. And then your muscles, they cross these 2 levers and they pull them together. Now, the way that they do this is pretty cool. I mean, I'm going to get into this in a video soon, but it's actually really interesting, the muscle sliding theory, the how they pull each other along. It's very interesting. But again, I'll spare you till I have the video up very soon because it's worth the wait. But anyways, everything has a very simple way of understanding it. The same way as the new diet book I'll be releasing soon. In roughly 30 pages, you guys will be able to fully comprehend and understand everything pertaining to diet. And then the rest of it is just going to be like recipes and how to meal prep easily and stuff. And again, it'll be comprehensively explained in a very simple way. The issue is with exercise, the same with diet, the same with everything. People overcomplicate it. They just don't understand how to take things down to a simple first principle basis. And first principle basis is where you should always be trying to start from. You should always be attempting to think critically, to think logically, and to get to the heart of the problem. So, I mean, I guess kind of shamelessly plugging myself here, but this is what I try really hard to do, both as an educator as well as a coach, is I try really, really hard to take all the stuff that I know is of extreme benefit to my client and that they really must know this. And it's different for everyone, of course, but some things remain the same. And I do my best to simplify these concepts into very, very simple concepts, then to make them very easy to remember for my clients so they keep the tools with them for their whole life. Things like the exercise and the diet, if you understand how levers work, you're good. If you understand lever magnification, you're good. And then if you understand just a very few small things like mechanical advantage, mechanical disadvantage, you understand passive insufficiency, active insufficiency, reciprocal intervention, a few rules of hypertrophy, and a few rules of nutrition regarding muscle growth, you're good. Then you just take a few more steps and you understand a few things about your breathing. You have some tools for your breathing now. You know how to stop your anxiety in its tracks. You know how to breathe for running. You don't get tired when you run. You know how to breathe for exercise. You get more sets and reps. You know how to breathe during your life to improve your posture and your overall health. It's all very simple to understand. You guys don't have to be like me and get all scientific with it and memorize, you know, countless hours and take countless classes and countless certifications. You guys don't have to do that. That's for me. I take joy in doing this. I like helping my clients and I like learning things to help my clients. And I'm especially fascinated with all of these topics I'm learning, which is why I do what I do, on top of loving to see people succeed. Which actually brings me back to the ice bath challenge. Anybody who wants a coach who really cares about you and is going to give you absolutely every single tool you need to succeed, you just have to get in an ice bath for a minute. That's it. It's really easy. I've already had 3 people send me the videos. I got 3 new clients for a month for free, a full free month of coaching from me. Most people who hire me as a coach, they only hire me for 2 or 3 months anyways. And why is that? It's because even as an online coach, it's all you need. You get every tool you need. You get access to information you didn't know existed. You get it explained simply. You get your plan laid out for you very simply, however you need it. Then you get educated on how to work your way through the plan, and I hold you accountable through it. Then you get the amazing results, and then you keep going on your own because you don't need me looking over your shoulder, just like you don't need your math teacher behind you still. And that's very simple. It's because you're educated. You now know how to do these things. You don't need a coach telling you what to do. You know how to breathe. You know how to correct your breathing. You have an arsenal of breathing tools. You know how to exercise with cables or dumbbells or body weight or nothing. You know how to build a gym for free. You know how to do just about anything you could ever imagine. It's been explained simply. The tools have been given to you. They're in your mind for the rest of your life. You can use them. You can teach other people. You no longer will ever need a trainer. You'll never need a dietitian. You will never need a nutritionist. Hell, if you stay with me long enough, you won't need an endocrinologist. You won't need a lot of things. And that's because you get more educated the longer you work with me. That's why some clients prefer to work with me for extended periods of times, because every time we talk, it's another lecture they've not heard from me. I have 600 lectures on YouTube, guys. I've written 4 books, almost 5 now, and that is only a very small portion of what I teach. It's like 10%. And the reason for that is I'm learning far faster than I can make videos, far faster than I can write it down. There's so much in here that I want to get on here so you guys can hear it. It's not even funny. But I'm very busy with clients. I'm very busy with life. I'm very busy with everything going on. I'm already writing books as fast as I can. I'm already making videos as fast as I can. I'm trying to bring members onto my team. If anybody wants to come on Team Coach Castle and come work for me, please let me know. I always have spots for personal trainers, people who want to become personal trainers. I have spots for virtual assistants. I have spots for people who want to do marketing. I have spots for everybody. I have spots for people I don't know I might need, because I'm always happy to network with people and I'm always happy to learn new skills and help people out. So again, anybody out there you want to work with me, you let me know. We can start building this company together. My company. But you're welcome to join on board. Sorry, it's mine though. But anyways, moving forward, guys, there's not been a whole lot of questions. I'm going to be wrapping this up in 5 to 7 minutes. If anybody has any questions, now would be a good time to put them in. If not, I'm just going to go through a couple things here. So just to recap, by the end of the month, I should have several different videos on hypertrophy out. I'm going to have the new live action flashcards, which is just me personally demonstrating in flashcard forms the various exercises. I'm almost done those now. I should hopefully, well, not by the end of the month, but by the end of November, I should hopefully have my new book done. It's going to be awesome. I have a new client plan starting, by the way. It's a once a month client plan. This is still in the works. I'm working on it, which means I need testers for this too. So if anybody would like to test a free month of coaching with me this way, you can do it. Just be aware that this particular way is not really thoroughly tested yet, so I'm not sure how it's going to work. So just if anybody wants to take part of that, send me an email. So anybody knows, you can reach me. All the links are in the description. At my Instagram, it's Coach Castle. My Facebook is Castle Thompson. My website is castleinprogress.com. My Gmail is castleinprogress@gmail.com. And again, you guys can reach me any way you feel like reaching me. My Etsy store is also linked in the description. Everything there is $1 up to $20 for one of my books. I think I'm going to be lowering prices or raising them soon. I don't know. I haven't decided. Oh yeah, and I have a whole new series on breathing exercises. I just started that yesterday. I'll have more videos uploaded today about those. These are all going to be very simple and important breathing exercises for correcting a lot of different aspects of your posture. I'm also working on finishing the exercise playlist, and I'm also working on a fun new project with my good friend Oz. I'll be learning and demonstrating the progressive steps towards learning a one-arm push-up, as well as learning a one-legged squat or a pistol squat, and then one other really fun one. I'll keep that one a secret for now. But those should all be done very soon. Of course, along with the anatomy and the lecture and everything else explaining it. There'll be a whole bunch of videos coming up soon enough of the cookbook, recipes, meal prep, all that stuff. And I'm almost done with the audio recording of my fourth book, Coach Castle's Biomechanical Bodybuilding. I'm in the process of recording the audio. That should also be done by the end of the month, I think. And that's it for announcements. I mean, I think there's probably actually more, but I can't think of them. So as you guys can see, I'm always busy, so forgive me if it takes a minute to get back to your emails or whatever. Probably the last thing I should mention, although I'll be making a video about this, is I would like to thank you guys as a whole, to all of my subscribers, as well as all of my friends who have been kind enough to send me emails, private messages, and personal messages about Doug. Again, most of you who follow this channel will know by now, Doug Brignoli has died. Again, I'll be making a lengthy video about this. I'm still not particularly comfortable talking about it. It's just quite emotional for me. A lot of you know, but he actually mentored me for about the last 8 years. We became very close, very good friends. We actually, very unfortunately, had a few projects coming up together, which I'm going to attempt to finish without him. But, you know, I'll do my best. That being said, I will say it again, even though I've already said it in another video. It's the loss of a really great man, of a titan in the industry, and he was just getting started. Really, all this means is I need to take all the information I've learned from him the last 8 years, and I'm going to have to carry the torch. And I'm going to have to make it burn even brighter and get more people involved, and I'm going to have to do everything I can to educate myself more thoroughly, to become a better educator, to become a better lecturer, to become better at making these videos, and to get my voice heard more. Because it is really more important now than ever before to get the word out there. I'm also going to be really attempting very hard to dial back what is taken as a very aggressive tone, and trying to speak more diplomatically and more politely about biomechanics. I'm going to try very hard to not be debating anymore. And if I do debate, I'm going to try to be extremely polite about it and simply make my points. As I'm sure this is exactly what Doug would have wanted. Every time we spoke, just about, I think, every time we spoke, maybe a couple times a month, he would literally tell me, you got to stop being so aggressive. You need to learn to be more diplomatic, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to do my very best for that. And again, educating myself to be educating you guys even better. And of course, guys, I'm always at your disposal. If anybody needs me, send me an email, send me a message. If you want me for coaching, please feel free to reach out. If you'd like to be a trial for my new coaching plan, reach out for that too. And if you'd like a free month of free coaching from me, pretty awesome, by the way, just go ahead and do a 1-minute ice bath. That's all I got for today, guys. Thank you all for tuning in, and hopefully we'll have a bigger, more robust audience next month once word gets around that I'm back up and running. The new time, again, is going to be Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and hopefully I'll go back to running the shows from 11 to 12 when I have a big enough audience again. But for right now, guys, just again, thank you very much for the outpouring of support, all the emails and everything else I received. It means a lot to me. And as always, I'm going to do my best to lead by example, to be the coach that you guys might not want, but you need. And I'm going to do everything I can to be educating you guys about everything you need to know. So of course, stay tuned. If you can, like the video and subscribe. Guys, thanks so very much and have a wonderful Sunday.